Hey class, this lecture is for week 7, lab 7 in regards to our framing assignment. A couple parts for your assignment this week. I want to talk about the framing details of our house, and we're going to do a lot of our calculations by the square foot, but I want you to get used to, because in the field you could be counting the studs in the exterior walls and the interior walls. And so understanding the size, 2 by 4, 2 by 6, floor joists being 2 by 10, or I-joists, right? And understanding all of our different material sizes is going to be important for you if you go into the estimating world in the construction industry. So what I'm going to have you do for the first part of this assignment is, you see this right hand wall, or this east wall? It's on our house plans, and I'm pointing to the 34 feet 6 inches, and that's this wall right here. So what part of this assignment is, I want you to count how many exterior vertical studs there are in this wall. Now I break it down for you right here. Here's the east exterior wall. Here's how you calculate it. This picture right here is quiz worthy, by the way, for quiz 2. Just being able to label all of the different pieces in a framed wall. Down here, you can see the bottom, or the sole plate, and then we have our on-center studs. OC is for on-center studs. These, in our case, are going to be 2 by 6 at 16 inches on center. Okay, so I'm giving you that information right there. You can see that we have a window and we have a door. And then this partition assembly right here in the middle, that's to accept an interior wall. So you can see that we have a few extra studs there. And we have some around our window, because we have a jack stud that is always directly underneath your headers on your windows and doors. And then we have a king stud that kind of flanks those each side. So we're going to actually add 2 extra studs per side of our openings. So if I go back, you can see we have these 2 windows right here. So you need to be able to do your what you're going to do is, you're going to take that 34.6, you're going to convert that into inches. You're going to divide by 16 inches because it's 16 inch on center, and you're going to get the count of how many on center studs you have. Then to that number, I want you to add 2 studs per opening. And I also want you to add, I put it down here as well, you will add studs where the interior walls meet the east wall. So I want you to add 2 studs for here as well. So anytime there's an interior wall coming in, add 2 studs. Windows, you're going to add 2 per each, so that's 4 extra studs. And then you're going to come up with what you come up with. You don't need to be exact to my number. We're always within, 1 or 2, but I'll give you a 10 count difference from your answer to get this right. It's not about being perfect. It's about understanding the whole framing structure of the exterior wall, this east exterior wall. And then it'll give you an idea of how you would go around and count all of the exterior studs in our house plans. Okay, the second piece of this is we are going to be calculating out our framing labor and our lumber material. Now, for our framing labor, you can see we're going to use the total living square feet, and we're going to multiply that by $16 per square foot. All right, we're not going to include the garage square foot into the labor price. All right, so we do have a little bit of a higher price here. So there's not a lot going on in the garage, right? It's a couple exterior walls and a door and some stairs. So not a lot. So we're going to use the total living square foot, and I'm going to show you where to find that. So if you go over to your course content in Blackboard, your course in Blackboard, and go under course content, go down a little bit to your working drawings. Okay, so if I go ahead and I open up my working drawings, and I go down, we do have the information right here on the foundation plan. You can see that I have the living square foot plus the garage square foot separated. I have the living square foot here, garage here, and then on the second floor, which is, oh my gosh, it's always so small on this one, I have all the square foot right there as well. Now, if I jump over to my Excel sheet, I don't know if you remember me telling you this in one of my videos, but I actually put the living square feet right on top of my Excel sheet, so I never forget it. So this is the square foot without the garage because it's conditioned, heating and cooling only. So 2731. 2731. So if you go down on your Excel sheet, because this is where you're going to be putting it, and you pop in for the framing labor 2731, make sure that your number multiplier is $16. You're going to get $43,696. So this is going to go into our Excel sheet, but you're also going to be putting this at the end. I gave you a bunch of information here. Framing labor cost. You're going to be taking that number once you do your multiplication, and you're going to be putting it right here. Oh gosh, let's put that right here. Let's see what happens. There we go. And so that's where you're going to put that. Same with the framing lumber. Now the framing lumber, what I'm asking you to do is I'm asking you to include the garage. All right. So we know, where's my calculator? So we know we have 2731. And now we need to add what it was for the garage. And the garage is 469. So we're going to do plus 469 equals 3,200 square feet. Now you're going to take that 3,200 square feet and you're going to multiply it by $38 a square foot. This is for our rough lumber, the shell of the house, okay? So 3,200 square feet. So I'm going to go over to my Excel sheet. I'm going to put my framing lumber here, it's division 6 and 7, 3,200 times 38, $121,600 for framing labor. Materials, and another $44,000 for that, right? I did want to put an allowance in, not an allowance, a number in here for plywood, PT plywood, pressure treated plywood under the floor system that I had to cantilever over the concrete. So in this, let's see, let me go to my plan real quick. Back here, this wall right here, the foundation is actually in a foot. And so I had to cantilever over the floor joist of this space right here. So I want to put a number in our Excel sheet that covers the material for that, material and labor for that matter. So I just want you to put this $2,400 in here in our Excel sheet, okay? So make sure you get that number in there. It's not on our homework assignment sheet, but I want you to have that number in here. The framing labor, we also have some stairs. If we go back over to this right here, I have some stairs out here that I need to be able to frame and get some materials for. So what we did here is I put, I'm going to do labor only. I did 6 man hours times $65 an hour, which comes out to $390 per hour. So don't forget, you can also put things like per square foot in these different ones, per square foot. So you remember how we came up with this. Now, for the, let's go back over to our homework assignment. So you'll put that number, that $121,000, you're going to put that in our framing lumber package. Here's the first one is your calculation of the exterior studs. We just did the labor. You're going to do the materials. We have a screened in wall for deck area allowance down here that I'm just giving you. So we just need to make sure that that gets into our Excel sheet as well. For the last two, 4 and 5, what I'm looking for is materials and labor for our rear deck. All right. So I'm talking about the wood, right? The wood structure, the floor joists, the details of that nature, and then the finished decking. And so for the finished decking, I gave you some information on composite decking versus wood decking, and it varies quite largely here, as you can see. But anyways, we're going to be dealing with this area right back here, this screened in porch. And there's a certain way that we lay our floor joists versus our finished decking. We want to do it opposite all the time. And so my floor joists are going to be coming out front to back, and my decking is going to be going right to left. Okay, why does that matter? Because if I go up a little bit, it explains it right here. We're going to calculate our square foot of decking and multiply by $38 per square foot for materials and labor. And then I want you to figure out the composite decking is $25 per piece for 14-foot lengths. All right. And they're 6 inches. I should have put this on here. They're 6 inches wide. So by saying that, the 14-foot length is going to be, we're going to span it right to left. So we have 12 feet. So we're going to buy 14, so we're going to cut 2 feet off. All right. But how many do we need? So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take this, use 11 feet, not 11, use 11 feet. You're going to do 11 feet times 12 because I want to know 11 feet times 12. I want to know how many inches, 132 inches from front to back. Why do I want to know that? Because I'm going to now divide by 6 inches, because that's the width of my material. And I'm going to get 22 pieces, 22 pieces for my composite decking. All right, do you see how I did that? I just took my length, I converted it into inches, I divided it by my material width, and then that gives me 22 pieces. So 22 pieces at 14 foot. So if I come back over here to my Excel sheet, yes, write this on your homework assignment as well too. Here's the labor for the deck. Oh, right here. Here's the labor for the deck. So if you divide 12 by 11, you're going to get 132 square feet. Here's the multiplier, that $38. So right here is my material that I need for that back deck, 5,016. So put that on your homework assignment. Then if I go down a little bit on my Excel sheet, I get the rear deck down here. It's right above Division 10. I changed some things, so pause this video and make sure you change your Excel sheet to match what I have here. But you can see my screened in details. There's that $3,400 I have on our homework assignment, and that's an allowance. And there's my 22 pieces times $25 is $550. Sorry, I'm talking a little fast. I want to get this video done for the 15 minutes that I have for this video. So again, pause it and make sure that your rear deck screened in porch matches mine. Again, there's that $3,400. That's right over here on your homework assignment. So your rear finished decking materials, that is your $550 because we just did by the piece for composite decking. So do you see how I broke that out? We have our framing labor material, and then we have our finished decking material. Some of this labor from above is going to actually work for our finished decking materials. Okay, if you have any questions with this, please make sure you reach out. There's this area right here for the rear screened in porch. And then don't forget to put your information into the framing area here, and then save this as a PDF and upload it with your Lab 7 assignment. Thank you.